Lily took a deep breath as she made her way along the narrow, winding path that led through the tall trees. The leaves rustled gently in the breeze, casting playful shadows on the ground. Each step felt heavier than the last, not just because of her growing belly, but also due to the weight of uncertainty hanging over her like a storm cloud. She had always imagined this moment differently, filled with excitement and joy. But today, anxiety clenched her heart. The secluded cottage came into view, framed by vibrant flowers and lush greenery. Its wooden walls, weathered and warm-toned, seemed to whisper stories of old. Ivy climbed up one side, giving it a cozy, almost enchanted look. But for Lily, it was more than just a charming building. It was a place steeped in memories that danced at the edges of her mind. This cottage belonged to her grandmother, a woman who had filled Lily's childhood with laughter and warmth. As she stepped closer, Lily's thoughts darted back to those summer days spent here, running through the garden, listening to tales about fairies and brave knights. Yet now, those happy memories felt shrouded in an unsettling fog. With each step forward, her heart raced faster. She paused for a moment at the door, gripping her belly gently as if seeking comfort from within. "What am I doing here?" she whispered to herself. Her pregnancy had not been easy, filled with moments of joy, overshadowed by fear and doubt. She had moved away from friends and family during this time to find space to think and prepare for her new role as a mother. Little did she know that this journey would lead her back to where it all began, a place that now felt like both home and stranger. With trembling hands, she pushed open the door. The familiar creak greeted her like an old friend. Inside, the air was fresh, yet tinged with dust after years of being unoccupied. Sunlight poured through the small windows, illuminating specks of dust dancing in the beams like tiny fairies. The room was filled with rustic furniture covered in soft linens, remnants of a life once lived here. A worn armchair sat in the corner next to a small fireplace, inviting yet somehow lonely. As she stepped further inside, Lily's eyes fell upon the table in the center of the room. On it lay a single piece of paper, white against the dark wood, a stark contrast that drew her in immediately. Her heart skipped a beat as curiosity mixed with apprehension. Who had left this note? Was it meant for her? She approached slowly, each step echoing in the quiet room. As she reached for the note, she couldn't shake off a feeling that something important awaited her within those lines. Perhaps answers or even questions better left unasked. With trembling fingers, she unfolded the paper. The handwriting was familiar yet distant, winding across the page in loops and swirls like an old song sung long ago. "Dearest Lily," it began, a salutation that sent shivers down her spine. The words that followed revealed secrets about family ties she had never known about before. But before she could dive into its contents fully, memories flooded back to her. The laughter around this very table during holiday meals, warm hugs from her grandmother while drinking tea on chilly afternoons. It felt surreal stepping back into this space after so long. Everything around her seemed infused with love, but also cloaked in mystery. Lily sank into one of the chairs at the table, clutching her belly again as if drawing strength from within. She needed to read this note carefully. It held something significant about her life now and what lay ahead for her child. Would uncovering these family secrets provide clarity or only deepen the clouds looming over her heart? As she tried to focus on deciphering each word amidst swirling emotions and fears for her future as a mother, Lily knew deep down that this moment marked the beginning of something transformative. A journey not only toward motherhood, but also toward understanding who she truly was and where she came from. With each line, she read aloud softly to herself. Determination began to replace some of the anxiety swirling within her. Perhaps stepping into this cottage was exactly what she needed. A chance to confront not just what was written on that piece of paper, but also what lay ahead in her future as a parent, ready to embrace both challenges and joys alike. The cottage stood proudly amidst the tall trees, a hidden gem in the heart of the forest. As Lily approached, she couldn't help but admire its quaint charm. The wooden structure had a rugged yet welcoming look, with its warm brown walls kissed by sunlight peeking through the treetops. Vines climbed up one side, their delicate green tendrils wrapping around the windows like gentle hands holding onto something precious. The roof, steeply slanted and adorned with patches of moss, seemed to blend perfectly into the surrounding nature, as if it had grown right out of the earth itself. Bright splashes of color marked the garden that surrounded the cottage. Blooms of all shapes and sizes flourished in vibrant reds, yellows, and purples. They danced in the light breeze, sending sweet fragrances wafting through the air that instantly transported Lily back to her childhood, a time when her grandmother would teach her how to care for the flowers and cherish their beauty. Despite their bright colors and inviting scents, something about these flowers felt different now. They seemed to lean toward her, as though whispering secrets only she could hear. Tall ferns swayed gently beside clusters of wildflowers, creating a curtain of green that both concealed and revealed the path to the door. It was as if nature itself was both welcoming her back home and cautioning her to tread carefully within this familiar space. Lily hesitated for a moment, feeling an unexpected chill run down her spine, despite the warmth of the sun overhead. The cottage felt alive, breathing alongside her as if acknowledging her presence after so many years away. As she stepped closer, her heart thudded with anticipation and unease. The porch creaked under her weight, announcing her arrival with a nostalgic sound that made her smile. A bittersweet reminder of time spent here long ago. She ran her fingers along the railing, feeling rough wood under her touch. Each groove familiar, but also foreign, after so much time had passed since she last visited. The door stood slightly ajar, inviting yet foreboding. As she pushed it open wider, it creaked dramatically on its hinges, an almost theatrical welcome that echoed throughout the small entryway. Inside was a mixture of comfort and mystery. Soft sunlight poured through dusty windows, lined with sheer curtains that fluttered like whispers in an unseen wind. The air held a scent of aged wood, mingling with hints of lavender from dried bouquets hanging nearby, a fragrance that instantly wrapped around her like a warm hug. Lily's eyes swept over every detail in this cozy space filled with rustic charm. Worn furniture dotted the living room. An old rocking chair sat beside a small fireplace, its cushions faded from years of love, yet still inviting enough for anyone seeking solace. Each piece seemed to tell stories. Stories of laughter shared during family gatherings and quiet evenings spent alone with a good book. Yet beneath this comfort lay layers of unease. Shadows shifted in corners where light barely reached, hinting at forgotten memories and perhaps even truths left unspoken. A shelf lined with books beckoned from across the room. Novels long adored, but now gathering dust as if waiting patiently for someone to bring them back to life again. Their spines wore labels hinting at adventures untold. Tales about bravery and magic woven through pages, waiting eagerly for a curious mind once more. Standing there, surrounded by nostalgia, both warm and unsettling, Lily felt as if time had forgotten this cottage, just like it had forgotten parts of herself. Her fingers brushed over family photographs displayed on an old side table, smiling faces captured in moments that felt alive yet distant now. and memories rushed back like waves crashing against rocks at high tide. But beneath those memories lingered questions. What awaited her here? Was it merely sentimental reflection or something deeper needing exploration? The comfortable hues of memory intermingled with shadows stretching toward her from every corner, causing conflicting emotions swirling within. The cottage reminded Lily so much of love, lost while simultaneously cradling possibilities not yet discovered. Outside, branches swayed gently against each other, creating a soft rustling sound. A reminder that nature remained ever present even when people moved on or changed seasons within their lives. This cottage felt interwoven into Lily's past, while simultaneously serving as an anchor to what lay ahead. Walking through its doors meant experiencing life's complexities, a journey involving both joy and uncertainty intertwined forever, guiding paths meeting inevitably right here where home still resided, deep down. Nestled safely within heart, eager to embrace whatever came next, understanding everything waiting just beyond horizon. Bathed, warm, golden light, illuminating endless potential ready unfold, captivating story daring, begin anew. As Lily stepped inside the cottage, a wave of warmth enveloped her, contrasting sharply with the cool breeze that brushed against her skin outside. The familiar scent of aged wood and dried lavender filled the air, wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. But beneath that comfort lay a current of unease, nudging at her thoughts as she moved further into the room. She paused for a moment, letting her gaze wander over the cozy furnishings that had witnessed countless family moments. Yet, even as nostalgia washed over her, another wave of emotion crashed into her. Anxiety. She placed a hand on her belly, feeling the gentle flutter of life within her, a reminder of the new journey she was about to embark on. What kind of mother will I be? She wondered, feeling both excited and terrified at the prospect. The walls of the cottage seemed to echo with questions she had been grappling with since learning about her pregnancy. Lily thought back to all the sleepless nights spent worrying about whether she would be able to give her child everything they needed. Would she be strong enough? Would she make the right decisions? These thoughts swirled in her mind like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind. Beautiful, yet chaotic. Lily closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath as she tried to quiet the anxious chatter in her head. Memories of her grandmother flooded back, her warm laughter, comforting hugs, and wise words spoken during moments of doubt. "You're stronger than you think," her grandmother would say, always knowing how to lift Lily's spirits when they were low. It was these memories that offered a flicker of hope amidst the uncertainty, reminding her that motherhood was not just about perfection, but love and resilience. Opening her eyes, Lily scanned the room again. Each item held a story, each scratch on the wooden table marked years gone by. This place is full of memories, she thought. It's where I learned about love and kindness. But now it felt different. It was also a place where secrets lingered in shadows and questions hid beneath layers of dust. What did it mean for her now? Could these memories help guide her through the challenges ahead? A soft sigh escaped her lips as she made her way toward the rocking chair by the fireplace. As she sat down slowly, letting herself sink into its familiar embrace, she felt a wave of calm wash over her, like being cradled both by the chair and by an unseen presence guiding her forward. She imagined herself here in a few months, cradling her baby and sharing stories about their grandmother, the very same woman who had shaped so much of who she was. But mixed with that vision was a sharp pang of fear. What if she couldn't live up to those expectations? What if she failed? The weight of those thoughts pressed heavily on her chest, making it hard to breathe for just a heartbeat longer than usual. Why am I so afraid? Lily asked herself quietly. Wasn't this what she had always wanted? A family? A chance to pass down love and stories just like those woven deeply into this cottage? Taking another deep breath, she reminded herself that fear was part of any journey worth taking. It meant there was something valuable waiting at the other end. As she rocked gently back and forth in the chair, Lily allowed herself to imagine what it might be like when happiness filled this space again. The laughter of children playing outside among those vibrant flowers, or bedtime stories shared beside flickering candlelight, illuminating faces aglow with wonderment. Yet even as hope began to blossom within her heart, like spring flowers breaking through winter's frost, doubt still lingered nearby, quietly whispering reminders of challenges yet to come. Sleepless nights, uncertainties surrounding parenthood, and facing fears passed down from generation to generation. But perhaps this cottage could be more than just an echo of the past. Maybe it could serve as a foundation for building new beginnings too. An anchor grounded firmly amid life's storms, guiding them toward bright horizons, yet unseen. Lily opened herself up to possibilities instead, embracing both fear and hope equally as companions walking alongside each other through this journey ahead. With each breath, deepening confidence blossomed anew within. Perhaps home wasn't just where one came from, but also where one was going. A place where love could emerge stronger than ever before, nurturing bonds that would last lifetimes across time, transcending everything else surrounding them. In this cozy cottage filled with memories old yet alive, still waiting patiently, alongside unfolding futures blooming brightly before whatever came next awaited patiently beyond threshold, beckoning gently, invitingly, ready embrace all that lay ahead, welcoming heart open wide, ready exploring every twist, every turn along pathway, leading forward defining story uniquely theirs, beginning anew. Right here, nestled safely within arms, tenderly wrapped together forevermore. Lily took a moment to breathe in the familiar scents dancing in the air around her. The comforting aroma of aged wood and lavender mingled with her swirling thoughts. As she settled into the rocking chair and felt the weight of the world lift just a little, something caught her eye on the table nearby. There, in the middle of the room, lay a single piece of paper, a stark white note resting on the dark wooden table. Its presence felt almost like an invitation, drawing her attention away from her swirling anxieties. The note seemed to pulse with significance, as if it held answers to questions she hadn't yet thought to ask. Curiosity piqued and heart racing, Lily rose from the chair and approached the table slowly. As she got closer, she could make out elegant handwriting flowing across the page, familiar yet distant, as though it belonged to someone she had known well. A shiver traveled down her spine. Was this note meant for her? She couldn't shake off the feeling that it had been waiting for her all along. With trembling fingers, Lily picked up the note and unfolded it gently. Her breath caught in her throat as she began to read. "Dearest Lily," it began, sending a rush of warmth through her chest, mixed with unease. "If you are reading this, then you have returned to the place where many of our family's stories began." Her grandmother's words echoed in her mind. "You're stronger than you think." But now those words felt heavy with expectation. What lay ahead in this letter? As she continued reading, secrets of family ties began to unfold before her eyes. Tales of her ancestors interwoven through generations and lessons learned over time. Each line sent ripples of emotion coursing through her veins. Joy intertwined with sadness as memories flooded back unbidden. Lily felt as if each word was pulling her deeper into a web of history that was both familiar and strange. the letter spoke of love left unspoken, choices made that shaped destinies not only for herself, but for those who came before her. It was as if this note held pieces of a puzzle she had never realized were missing from her life. Am I ready for this? She thought nervously while gripping the paper tighter. Her heart raced as questions collided. How much did she know about her own family? Were these secrets buried deep within this cottage meant to illuminate who she truly was, or merely add weight to an already heavy heart? The sunlight streamed through the dust-laden windows, illuminating fragments of dust that danced around like tiny memories breaking free from their confines, the remnants of stories told and lives lived within these walls. With every passing moment, anxiety curled in her stomach like a tight knot. Should she read further? What if these revelations changed everything she thought she knew about herself and her family? Would they define who she would become as a mother? Suddenly, feelings of unease surged within her anew. Was confronting these family secrets going to open old wounds? Would knowing more about their struggles and triumphs help prepare her for motherhood or leave scars that would take even longer to heal? But then there was also hope. Hope that understanding these buried histories might strengthen not just her resolve, but also create bonds between herself and her future child. Connections woven through shared experiences across time, reminding them that together they could journey through both light and dark sides of life. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, Lily made up her mind. There was no turning back now. She needed to embrace what lay ahead, including both uncertainty and potential growth that awaited within this tiny cottage filled with whispers from the past. As she carefully refolded the note and placed it gently back on the table, Lily felt a surge of determination rise within her, like spring flowers fighting through winter's frost. This cottage was not just a place filled with memories. It was an anchor tethering together generations, a foundation upon which new stories could be built alongside those already told. Determined now to uncover truths hidden beneath layers long covered in dust, Lily stepped away from the table feeling renewed purpose bubbling up inside. This journey wasn't merely about reckoning with the past, but ensuring a brighter future. A journey where every word written on that page would guide them forward together, toward all that awaited beyond those doors, leading into woods alive, bursting potential. Ready, embracing whatever else lay ahead, waiting patiently beyond horizon, beckoning invitingly onward, eagerly inviting discovery anew. With the note unfolding in her hands, Lily leaned against the rustic table, her heart racing as she read on. The elegant script revealed secrets that dug deep into her family's past, unraveling connections she had never anticipated. Each word weighed heavy, and as she continued reading, shock flared within her, sending tremors of confusion through her mind. Your grandmother, it read, had a secret that ran deeper than our family trees. The cottage you stand in was not merely a place of warmth. It once served as a sanctuary for those who sought refuge from the outside world, a gathering point for women in our family line who needed each other, drawing strength from their shared burdens and joys. Lily's breath hitched. A sanctuary? She had always viewed this cottage as a happy place filled with love and laughter. Yet now it stood before her as a symbol of struggle and resilience, interwoven through generations. Her grandmother had kept this hidden, shrouding it in the bright memories of joy rather than revealing what must have been a heavy legacy. As she read further, the note revealed that her great-grandmother had faced challenges that mirrored Lily's own fears about motherhood. Heartache, loss, and the ever-looming question of whether she was enough. Your ancestor bore a child under circumstances that tested her every ounce of strength. the letter continued. She nurtured a fierce spirit within her, a drive to thrive against all odds. And in her struggles, she laid the groundwork for you to embrace your own journey. A whirlwind of emotions surged within Lily, fear mixed with admiration. She placed a hand over her belly, feeling the gentle kick of her baby inside her. What had her great-grandmother endured to protect future generations? Would she be able to face her own challenges with the same strength? The words blurred for a moment as tears filled her eyes. A family secret layered with triumph and despair echoed through the years, like an ancient song that only now found its voice in Lily's own life. It was jarring to think of the very walls around her sheltering stories of pain intertwined with resilience. "Are you ready for this?" she chanted inwardly, anxiety creeping in once more. What if learning about these struggles changed everything she thought she understood about motherhood? Could she live up to this legacy? Images of her grandmother's smile pierced through her apprehension, a reminder that love had flourished despite hardship. She returned to the letter, focusing on the next line. "The bond formed between our women is what strengthens us and guides us through unimaginable storms." This notion resonated deeply in her heart. The sense of unity passed down through generations had never felt more tangible than it did now. Instinctively, she sensed that the connections woven throughout time existed still, that she was never alone in this journey. Yet, with each unfolding phrase came a growing knot of confusion within Lily. Why hadn't she learned any of this before? Was it shame or pride that kept such powerful stories hidden beneath layers of mundane family chatter? The truth suddenly felt like both a gift and a burden. Then the note concluded with a final poignant message. "Embrace these shadows of our past alongside the light. They shape who you will become. You are part of a lineage grounded in courage. Your journey is just beginning." Intense emotion washed over her as she folded the note carefully and pressed it to her heart. This cottage wasn't merely a relic of childhood. It was a bridge, allowing her to connect deeply with those who had come before, while lighting a path forward to nurture her own child. Stepping back from the table, sturdy determination coursed through Lily as clarity took shape amidst confusion. Questions still loomed about motherhood, family secrets, and overwhelming expectations. But they transformed from fears into stepping stones, guiding her through an intricate tapestry woven over generations. With newfound purpose blossoming within and echoes of strength wrapped around her like an embrace, Lily felt ready to take on whatever came next. The connection to her past had illuminated pieces of herself long buried beneath doubt. Ligo Ivikai's reminding her not only of what had been, but also of all that she could still become. Leaving behind the familiar comfort wrapped within those walls filled with memories, new tales began taking form in Lily's heart. Stories yet untold waiting patiently beyond that threshold filled with potential and promise alive, waiting just beyond the horizon, beckoning invitingly toward undiscovered futures full of hope and joy ahead. As Lily stood in the cozy cottage, the air around her seemed to shimmer with memories, pulling her back into the warmth of her childhood. She closed her eyes and allowed herself to drift into a vivid flashback, where the scent of lavender and baked goods filled her senses. In her mind, she was a small girl again, running through the garden of her grandmother's cottage, a smaller version of the very place she now stood in. The sun was bright overhead, casting playful shadows on the ground as she chased after butterflies flitting from flower to flower. Her laughter echoed through the air, mixing with her grandmother's gentle voice, calling her to come inside for some freshly baked cookies. "Lily, come here, dear," her grandmother would say, her hair silvered yet vibrant and alive with energy. She always wore a flowy dress adorned with bright flowers that matched the blooms in the garden. "You must help me with this." Her grandmother would be standing at the kitchen counter, hands flour-dusted, mixing ingredients for cookies or pie, always with a smile that made Lily feel like the most important person in the world. Lily remembered how she would stand on a stool beside her grandmother, peering over the edge of the counter, fascinated by how flour transformed into soft dough under her skilled hands. They would laugh together as flour dusted their faces like fairy dust, creating a playful mess that made them both giggle uncontrollably. "Just a little pinch of love," her grandmother would say, winking at Lily as if sharing a great secret. In those moments, the cottage felt like a magical realm where anything was possible. The walls echoed with laughter and stories of brave knights and adventurous fairies, woven by her grandmother into bedtime tales that danced through Lily's dreams every night. She could see herself nestled under warm blankets, listening intently as the flickering candlelight illuminated her grandmother's expressive face. Yet sadness lingered in those memories too. She recalled moments when her grandmother's smile faded slightly as she gazed out the window, lost in thought. It was in those quiet times that Lily felt a shift in the air, an understanding that life held both joy and sorrow. Her grandmother often spoke about strength, resilience, and the importance of family ties. "We are all woven together," she would say softly, "and our stories keep us strong." Tears pricked at Lily's eyes as she thought of how much she missed those days, how safe and loved she felt. The cottage had been not just a home, but a sanctuary for both laughter and tears. It was where she learned about love, both its lightness and its weight. The sunlight filtered through the same windows, and suddenly Lily struggled to hold on to the fleeting memories as they began to fade like morning mist. She opened her eyes and looked around the cottage again, realizing how much it had shaped who she was. Every corner held a memory, a testament to love shared across generations. But now, standing alone in this place once filled with laughter and warmth, she felt a pang of uncertainty about her own future as a mother. Would she be able to create such a space for her own child? Would she have the strength to weave stories that would carry on through time? She placed a hand gently over her belly, feeling a flutter from within, a reminder of the new life growing inside her. What would my grandmother say? She pondered, imagining her smiling down with pride and encouragement. "You carry within you all of us." She could hear her grandmother's voice echoing faintly in her thoughts. "You have everything you need." That realization brought a wave of warmth back to Lily's heart amidst the swirl of emotions. Her childhood memories were not just distant echoes. They were blueprints for building her own family legacy. This cottage was more than bricks and wood. It was an emblem of strength and love that could transcend generations. With renewed clarity, Lily felt determined to merge those memories with her own journey ahead. The stories of resilience that echoed through time were hers to embrace now, to pass down to her child alongside tales of wonder and joy, just as her grandmother had done. As she turned back toward the table, where the note still lay waiting, Lily felt an unshakable connection to those who came before her, a lineage of women bound not just by blood, but by shared experiences and unwavering strength. She took a deep breath and smiled softly. The path before her now felt less daunting, illuminated by love that had thrived even amidst hardship. With each step forward towards motherhood, Lily knew that she carried not just her hopes, but also the legacy of those who had come before. Ready to build new stories infused with love, laughter, and courage, waiting patiently beyond the horizon. With the weight of the note still heavy in her hands, Lily felt her heart racing as thoughts about her future tumbled through her mind, like autumn leaves caught in a whirlwind. Each revelation brought new questions, and she realized she needed time to sift through them all. The cottage, with its embracing aura and the memories it held, seemed like the perfect place for reflection and clarity. "I can stay a little longer," she whispered to herself, almost as if confirming a thought that had already taken root in her heart. The idea of immersing herself in this space felt comforting and necessary. Here, surrounded by the echoes of laughter and love that still lingered within the walls, she could confront her fears about becoming a mother. The revelations of the note beckoned her to uncover deeper truths, not just about her family, but also about herself. Lily moved through the cottage with purpose, taking in every detail that felt both familiar and new. Sunlight streamed through the windows, casting warm golden rays across the wooden floorboards, and she noticed how they glinted like small pieces of treasure in the soft light. Everything around her felt alive, as if the cottage itself was welcoming her home, encouraging her to unpack her worries. She made her way into the small kitchen where so many cherished memories were stored, memories filled with laughter and love. As she stood before the counter where her grandmother had taught her to bake, Lily smiled softly at a whimsical thought. Perhaps this was where she could begin crafting her own stories for her child. The old cookbook lay open on the counter, its pages yellowed with age, yet still vibrant with handwritten notes and little doodles. It was a testament to generations of cooking and bonding over food. The same flour-dusted hands that had shaped dough now echoed back to her like whispers of encouragement. "I can learn more," she murmured, imagining herself passing on these traditions. "I can carry this legacy forward." Lily moved through the cottage methodically, pausing at each room to take in all that had shaped her as a child. The living room was adorned with faded photographs hanging on the walls, glimpses into sweet moments long ago captured in time. Her heart swelled as she recognized faces from those photos. Happy children who laughed together, mothers who shared wisdom across generations, and strong women who faced their challenges head-on. Sitting back down in the rocking chair by the fireplace, she closed her eyes again and allowed herself to absorb everything. The comfort of this space and its history cradling around her like an embrace. Here she could feel a profound connection to all those who had come before her. It was as if their strength flowed through her veins, reminding her that she was never truly alone. "I can do this," she affirmed softly. "I have so much love to give." With each heartbeat echoing steadily within her chest, Lily resolved to be there for her child, not only as a mother, but also as a storyteller, a keeper of cherished family traditions. Over time spent here in contemplation, under the watchful gaze of freshly blooming flowers outside, Lily felt transformation beginning deep within. A blossoming desire to forge ahead, infused with newfound purpose. She envisioned herself crafting dinners filled with laughter, alongside bedtime stories rich with adventure. Just as those before had done for her, days turned into nights as she settled into this rhythm of reflection and renewal within the cottage's comforting embrace. Each evening brought whispered tales woven into moonlit nights, where hope thrived amidst uncertainty. A tapestry stitched together with threads both old and new. As clarity began to emerge from those swirling thoughts that once clouded her mind, moments of fear morphed into opportunities for growth. Questions lingered still. How would motherhood challenge her? What legacy would she ultimately build? But they no longer felt daunting. Instead, they shimmered like stars waiting to be grasped. Lily savored each moment spent within those walls, their power feeding strength into every fiber of who she was becoming. The realization dawned upon her. Staying in this cherished cottage wasn't simply about overlooking family secrets or longing for yesteryears. It was about crafting a narrative enriched by love, gathered across time. A story, yet fully lived, waiting patiently ahead, beyond every threshold invitingly opened toward horizons uncharted, full of potential. Embracing that thought gave Lily hope. She knew now more than ever that whatever awaited beyond these walls would not overwhelm, but rather empower. An affirmation wrapped around every heartbeat, echoing outwards, nourishing dreams, waiting patiently, ready, unfolding journey shared, hand in hand, filled joyously for years, yet unwritten moving forward toward light. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting a warm glow across the garden, Lily decided to take a walk outside. The fresh air filled her lungs and seemed to lighten the heavy thoughts that often clouded her mind. With each step, the vibrant colors of the flowers and the rustling leaves all around her began to contrast with the turmoil swirling within. She marveled at how alive everything felt. Nature, in its serene beauty, thrived despite her internal struggle. As she wandered deeper into the garden, Lily noticed a family of rabbits nibbling on tender clovers nearby. They were unbothered by her presence, ears perked as they chewed, and she paused for a moment to take in this simple scene. Their innocence and carefree demeanor reminded her of her own childhood, when worries were non-existent. Watching them brought a smile to her face, a fleeting but needed relief from the weight of uncertainty she felt about becoming a mother. Continuing her stroll down the garden path, she noticed a flutter of wings. A bright bluebird landed on a nearby bush, chirping cheerfully, as if sharing its joy with the world. Its song was a melodic contrast to Lily's quiet introspection, grounding her in that moment. She found herself wishing to embody the same lightness, the ability to embrace joy without fear. Perhaps, she thought, there was something to learn from the wildlife that thrived around her. As she moved toward the edge of the garden where it met the woods, the trees swayed gently in the breeze. In their rustling leaves, Lily found a sense of peace that had eluded her since she arrived at the cottage. Each branch seemed to move with purpose, almost beckoning her to enter their world. The cool shade beneath the canopy was inviting, and she decided to explore further into the forest. Stepping into the woods felt like crossing a threshold into another realm. The air was different here, crisp and rich with the scent of pine and earth. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating dance-like patterns on the forest floor that sparkled with life. Lily felt both overwhelmed and comforted by how removed this place felt from her everyday life. Here, she could be just a part of nature's tapestry, rather than someone burdened by expectations. Yet within the beauty existed remnants of her anxiety. As she walked deeper into the woods, small anxieties buzzed in her mind like annoying flies. What if she couldn't live up to the legacy of strength passed through generations? What if motherhood proved too much for her? The gentle sounds of nature stood in stark contrast to those troubling thoughts, reminding her that life was beautifully unpredictable. Suddenly, a deer appeared at a small clearing ahead, pausing to drink from a crystal-clear stream. Its gentle eyes met hers for just a moment, and for that brief instant, it felt as if they shared an understanding of vulnerability. A silent conversation between two souls navigating through uncertain paths. Lily's heart swelled at this beautiful encounter. It was as if nature itself was reassuring her that she would find what she needed along her journey. Taking a seat on a fallen log nearby, Lily closed her eyes and listened intently. The sounds of chirping birds, rustling leaves, and flowing water created a soothing symphony that enveloped her mind like a gentle hug. Here, amidst nature's embrace, she began to feel more centered and less alone with her fears. With each breath, clarity began to seep through layers of doubt. Perhaps staying at the cottage truly held potential after all. It provided not just a physical space, but also a mental refuge where she could merge memories with newfound resolve. Nature provided context. It reminded her of life's cyclical patterns, of growth, change, and renewal. Lily opened her eyes again to watch friendly squirrels darting playfully among tree branches overhead. Their joyful antics infused her spirit with warmth. In this moment, she realized that just as animals lived instinctively according to their natural rhythms, motherhood too would follow its own course. Nothing set in stone, but rather an unfolding journey woven with love and resilience. After some time immersed in thoughtfulness and quiet contemplation surrounded by wildlife, Lily felt a sense of balance return within her. She stood up from the log and took one last deep breath before making her way back toward the cottage, with more purpose than when she left. Re-entering the garden filled with blooming flowers and buzzing bees elevated her mood further as sunlight painted everything in golden hues. She felt rejuvenated, a reminder that even in moments of turmoil, peace could be found just outside if one opened their heart to nature's lessons about life's continuity. Now more than ever determined to embrace both challenges and delights of motherhood ahead, Lily walked back toward the cottage feeling invigorated. The connection between herself and nature felt renewed and alive. A promise that this journey into motherhood was also one toward embracing all forms of life around her, bursting with potential waiting anxiously just beyond. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the cottage, Lily felt a strange shift in the atmosphere. The peacefulness she had savored during her walks through the garden and woods transformed into a heavy tension that hung in the air, making her heart race. She sensed that she was not alone, despite being tucked away in the solitude of her grandmother's home. The familiar creaks of the floorboards seemed louder now, echoing ominously in the stillness. A chill crept down her spine as she moved back towards the living room. A space once filled with warmth and laughter now felt charged with uncertainty. Had she truly embraced the past and prepared for motherhood? Or was she merely dodging a deeper truth hidden within these walls? Suddenly, a soft sound broke through her thoughts, a faint knock at the door. Lily froze, uncertainty clashing with curiosity as she approached cautiously. Who could be visiting at such an hour? With no neighbors nearby, this was an unexpected interruption to her solitude. Taking a deep breath to steady herself, she opened the door slowly. Standing there was a figure cloaked in shadows, face obscured beneath a wide-brimmed hat. For a moment, all Lily could see were their dark silhouette and the outline of a bag slung over one shoulder. "Can I help you?" Lily's voice trembled slightly as she spoke, betraying her growing anxiety. The figure stepped forward into the light, revealing sharp features and piercing blue eyes that felt oddly familiar, yet unsettling. "I'm sorry to intrude," they said softly, their tone almost melodic, but layered with something Lily couldn't quite place. "I've come to talk about your family." At those words, a wave of apprehension washed over her. "What do you know about my family?" she asked, crossing her arms defensively against an invisible force pressing upon her. The figure hesitated for a moment before continuing. "There are stories left untold, secrets buried that have shaped who you are and who you will become." Their gaze held hers steadily, and for a moment, Lily felt as if they could see right through her. It was as if they knew every doubt and fear she harbored regarding motherhood and her legacy. Lily didn't know whether to feel intrigued or threatened by this stranger's presence. Her mind raced with possibilities. Had someone sent them? Were they here to reveal more about the note she had read earlier? "What do you want from me?" she queried more forcefully now, needing to regain some control over this unexpected encounter. "I want to help," they replied, voice steady yet gentle. "Your grandmother had unfinished business. Stories that need sharing to bring clarity to your journey ahead." Lily's heart began to pound more fiercely. This stranger spoke of her grandmother's secrets as if they were tangible treasures waiting to be uncovered. But as much as her curiosity yearned for answers, fear also gripped her tightly. Fear of unearthing painful truths about herself and her ancestry. "I don't know if I can handle more revelations," she admitted softly, feeling vulnerable under their gaze. "I've already learned so much about my family. It's overwhelming." "Sometimes, uncovering these truths is what opens doorways to healing," they said gently. "You're on the brink of becoming a mother. Knowing your family's past can empower you moving forward." With each word spoken by the mysterious figure, Lily felt an internal battle brewing. Could delving deeper into her grandmother's secrets really provide strength for what lay ahead? Or would it only cast shadows over her hopes for motherhood? As those thoughts swirled in her mind, like autumn leaves caught in a gusty wind, Lily realized that confronting these uncertainties might be vital for embracing her future. Perhaps facing whatever was hidden could be instrumental in weaving together both past and present, the very fabric of who she was meant to be for herself and her child. After a moment of silence, thick with unspoken feelings, she nodded slowly at the stranger before her. "Very well," she said finally, summoning her courage. "I'm willing to listen." A smile flickered across the figure's lips, a hint of approval mixed with something else that felt like compassion and understanding. "Then let us sit down together," they suggested, motioning towards the inviting warmth of the cottage's interior. As they moved inside, Lily felt a mix of trepidation and hope rising within her, a fragile flame igniting against all uncertainty. Now it was time to confront not just family secrets, but also some fears that had shadowed her heart since arriving at this cottage. With every step forward into that space, filled with memories, yet unwritten stories beckoning from beyond, Lily prepared herself for whatever truths awaited them both, ready to face what lay hidden beneath layers of love and resilience passed down through generations. As Lily sat down with the mysterious figure in the cozy haven of her grandmother's cottage, she felt a mixture of apprehension and anticipation swirling within her. The figure, their presence surprisingly comforting, began to recount the stories of her family's history, illuminating truths that had remained hidden for far too long. Each revelation brought clarity to Lily's heart, unraveling knots of confusion and anxiety that had plagued her thoughts. The stranger spoke softly, weaving tales of resilience and courage that resonated deeply with Lily. They shared how her forebears had faced hardships, yet always emerged with unbreakable bonds forged through love and unity. With every story, Lily could feel the weight of her ancestors pressing against her shoulders, their strengths melding into hers, infusing her with an unshakable power and connection to those who had come before. "It's time to let go," the figure advised gently, their voice steady like a warm embrace. "Let go of the fears that hold you back. Embrace all that your past has to offer. You are not merely carrying their legacy. You are becoming part of it." With their words echoing in her mind, Lily closed her eyes, allowing herself to envision not only her grandmother's smile, but also the quiet strength radiating from the women who had shaped her lineage. She thought about the lessons learned through pain and joy alike, transforming them into essential threads in the fabric of her life. They were pieces of wisdom that would guide her as she embarked on this new chapter of motherhood. As the evening sky painted vibrant hues across the horizon, mixing purples and oranges in a stunning tribute to the setting sun, Lily finally felt a sense of peace settle over her. The fears that once threatened to overwhelm her began to dissolve like mist beneath dawn's rays. In their stead blossomed a newfound understanding. She could honor her family's journey while charting her own course. "I see it now," she murmured softly, more to herself than anyone else. "I can be both, anchored in my past while reaching toward my future." The figures smiled knowingly, their blue eyes reflecting encouragement. "Exactly," they affirmed. "You hold within you the strength required to nurture your child, informed by those who have walked similar paths before you." Lily nodded slowly, fully absorbing this realization. She didn't need to eradicate every insecurity or question. Instead, she could embrace them as part of the journey ahead, a journey rich with opportunities for growth and connection. When she opened her eyes again, nothing felt quite as daunting as before. The walls of the cottage no longer seemed like barriers, but rather sturdy vessels holding love, wisdom, and immeasurable potential for generations yet to come. With each breath she took, she imagined herself blossoming into motherhood. The laughter shared over fresh-baked cookies, made from the beloved family cookbook sitting on the counter, or stories told beneath soft blankets during quiet nights filled with wonder. She envisioned nurturing a child wrapped in warmth while also imparting lessons of resilience, learned from those who had endured hardships while thriving nonetheless. "I feel ready," she declared boldly, resolve coursing through every word spoken aloud. Ready to embrace this new life, the challenges and joys alike. Lily could hardly contain the excitement budding within as she glanced towards the stranger who had guided her toward this moment of clarity. She felt grateful for their presence, for pushing open doors previously locked tight by doubt and uncertainty. "This is just the beginning," they said gently. "Your journey stretches out before you like an uncharted map awaiting exploration." Standing now at that crossroads between past and future, filled with renewed purpose, Lily finally understood that while family history would forever be imprinted on who she was, her choices would shape who she would become. The weight she once felt had been transformed into wings ready to soar. As darkness enveloped the surroundings outside, casting a gentle blanket over nature's playground, Lily took one last look around, the cottage filled with memories cherished, before stepping boldly forward into open horizons that lay waiting patiently beyond. Horizons full of light, love, and infinite possibilities, urging her forward toward everything that life had yet to unfold. In doing so, she embraced not only her past, but also a vibrant future filled with strength. A future where motherhood was not merely a role, but a beautiful legacy waiting to blossom boundlessly alongside her child forevermore. As dawn broke over the cottage, a soft glow filled the rooms, and Lily felt an exhilarating sense of renewal wash over her. The lessons she had learned during her stay here, intertwined with the stories of her ancestors, had transformed her perspective on motherhood and life itself. No longer did the weight of uncertainty press heavily upon her. Instead, she felt its gravity shift into something lighter, a foundation for growth. Gazing out of the window at the garden blooming with vibrant colors, Lily recognized that each flower represented a piece of herself. Just as they thrived under the warmth of the sun, she too could flourish despite the challenges ahead. She smiled at the thought that she would soon be nurturing new life, her own child, while drawing upon the resilience passed down through generations. That morning, as she brewed a pot of herbal tea in her grandmother's kitchen, every scent evoked memories that felt both comforting and empowering. She could almost hear her grandmother's laughter mingling with the gentle sounds of nature outside, the rustling leaves and cheerful bird song echoing joyfully through the open windows. It was a reminder that love existed not just in memories, but in every moment, waiting to be created anew. Sitting at the kitchen table, Lily reached for the old family cookbook that had sparked inspiration during her reflections. She flipped through its pages, filled with handwritten notes and illustrations, feeling an urge to preserve these traditions while also adding her own unique touch. "I will create meals infused with laughter," she thought resolutely, "and share stories that celebrate our shared history." The thought brought forth an image of herself cradling her child in one arm while stirring a bubbling pot on the stove with the other, teaching them not only about cooking, but also about courage and strength inherited from those who had come before. It was then that she understood. Motherhood wasn't merely about caring for another. It was also about cultivating connections rooted deep within. With newfound clarity flooding her mind, Lily stepped outside into the early morning light. The flowers danced gently beneath a soft breeze, as if welcoming her to embrace each day as a new beginning. In this tranquil moment surrounded by nature's beauty, she realized she was ready to step boldly into whatever lay ahead, ready to embrace both challenges and delights that would come with motherhood. Walking along the garden path, Lily felt invigorated by a spirit of adventure mixed with gratitude for all those who had shaped her journey thus far. Each step forward resonated with purpose, as if each footfall marked an affirmation of who she was becoming. A woman deeply rooted in family, yet eager to explore uncharted territories ahead. In this brief quietude before life would change forever with her child's arrival, Lily paused to reflect on how far she'd come since entering the cottage filled with doubts and questions. Now she stood grounded, confidently prepared to honor both past and future, woven together like threads in a rich tapestry. Embracing memories while being unafraid of what might come next allowed Lily to feel truly alive, a promise firmly stitched together with threads of hope and strength, destined to guide every choice made going forward. As time passed toward midday, it became clear that each moment spent here contributed richly towards navigating motherhood's complexities. A journey where love served not just as foundation, but also as an ever-flowing source, nurturing relationships, blossoming endlessly beyond horizons awaiting discovery. Lily returned inside and gathered her things. It was time to leave this cherished space behind and bring everything she had gained back into the world beyond these walls. But rather than feeling sadness or loss at departing from such a significant chapter in her life, Lily felt exhilarated, ready to take everything learned into new experiences awaiting eagerly just around the corner. Stepping outside for one last look at the cottage now cloaked in sunshine gave rise to an overwhelming sense of closure, balanced gracefully with anticipation for what lay ahead. A future rich with potential brimming, full alive heart beating strongly, reminding her continually that every ending is simply another beginning, ready to unfold beautifully like petals, revealing vibrant colors secretly hidden just below surface, waiting patiently for sunlight's touch. With renewed purpose, guiding every breath taken and hope radiating brightly outward, illuminating paths stretched infinitely wide before her. Now firmly holding tight onto legacy, woven through generations, unraveling rewriting stories boundlessly created anew by love, enduring endlessly across time's embrace.